say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, assessors report. She left one.
Yep, there's a report in there. Huh?
Does this second page go with it?
No, no, that's a separate.
Oh, okay.
That's a separate one.
issue, okay.
That's from the planning board. Yeah, right here is hers.
Has everybody had a chance to read it?
Yep.
Okay. Entertain a motion to accept it.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second from Chris. Any discussion on the assessors report? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, there's a letter in your board packet. To appoint Susan Bailey. Could you come up here, Susan, please? To the Zoning Board of Appeals. Okay, is there any board member that has any questions for her? It's been a long time since we've had a volunteer, somebody who wants to get involved.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you today?
Okay. You know it's not the most popular
Yes.
spot sometimes.
But it is paid.
It is slightly paid for the little bit of time that we have someone go through ZBA, so. But it's usually a result of not accepting what the planning board has to offer. So
Yes.
It's a backstop, so it can be contentious. You're not worried about it.
Nope.
Okay, I just have to bring it up because,
Nope.
you know, being the poster child of contentious, I can tell you that I get enough, so, okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Where's your farm over there?
Huh?
Where's the farm over there? Because you're a farmer?
Yes, on Dellenbeck Road, Maple Lane Farm, the Coastal Farm.
Oh, okay. All right.
How long have you lived in the town? I have lived in the town since I was 22. I'll be 30 this year.
She comes highly recommended by Donnie Mead.
By who? Johnny Meat?
Mead.
Oh.
Well, sounds bad already.
I just asked, people. My gosh. Come on.
Okay. Does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept Susan's resume and appoint her to the zoning board of appeals.
Second.
Do I have a second? Hank? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You're unanimous.
Congratulations.
Opposed?
I don't have a letter. I don't know. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Oh, I probably, maybe I do.
Oh, I know you do.
Yeah, okay, I do,
Okay,
Chris.
you got it.
It's in the other part of the pack.
Okay, you got it. I just want to make sure you got it.
Yep, right here. it is.
Okay.
Like me, losing all the papers here.
Susan, how do you spell your last name?
It's Bailey, B-A-I-L-E-Y.
B-A-I-L-E-Y?
Yes.
Okay.
Susan, you have an oath of office to take too, okay? Just
Okay.
see Linda, she'll
See me after the meeting.
pick you up.
There's the sign for the picture.
And the handbook and everything. It's just the same for
You have a workplace violence thing to deal with.
All right, code enforcement officer, now's your turn.
Yes. You got my report, permits are going out.
Yes, we do.
This year, about this time last year, I'd have to say we're in the 50s, late 50s, early 60s on permits. Right now you'll see we're on 70 permits, or building permits, just building permits this year alone in the town. So people are still building. You'll see my report. You'll also see 2 copies that came from the state. One is a 1,500 square foot homes that are over 1,500 square feet. They need stamped drawings. Second page was put out on the 5th, and it says that if anybody doesn't want to do the prints, they can apply for a variance with the state, which then you get the paperwork from the state, or I'll go online and get it, fill it all out, send your appeal for a variance. So far, it's only been a certain Amish community that has told us in the past the second floor was for storage, and then 3-4 months later, there's 9 bedrooms for
Kids are
kids.
sleeping.
So we cannot do that anymore. Some of them were gonna come here tonight, I'm glad they didn't, because they're packed and they have to stand outside, but
That's why you were locking the door.
only for a couple of people I seen come in. So, but no, so, Town of Root, last October it started from some Amish coming from up north, Bombay area. So we have to stand to that. We adopted the codes, all municipality adopted the uniform codes. Even the new 2015 international codes, we do not have the right to make any agreement with anybody. They have to go through the state. It's an issue with them and the state. But what's happening is Town of Root and Town of Charleston, they're coming to our meetings and they're putting the town on the line, well, we're only gonna give you so much time to come up with something for us on not handing in stamped prints. If not, then we're gonna start building. 12 plus years doing this, and I ended up doing my first Amish in court. I don't wanna do it, they're nice, it's just one Amish community, and they're split up in 2 different towns. So, that's the procedure, that's what they want, that's the procedure, we have to follow by it. I got a call from an Amish yesterday, and Bill and myself are invited to a barn raising tomorrow
Wonderful.
for lunch with half the elders to see if we can come up with some type of a solution for them. I'm going just to eat, I'm not gonna tell them I can't do nothing.
You're gonna take the free meal?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
I've been to them before, they sit me down and feed me.
Better bring something to smoke afterwards.
So-
That's the barn raising, say do that.
You know, but, yeah, so, if they come in, this is what we have to do, we have to stand ground, like I said, we adopted, all the municipalities adopted these. Our attorneys that we use know these codes, and if there's a flaw in any of them, that's where they straighten us out, but we have to follow, just in the towns, the villages, there's no place for them to build a farm, you know, but, and Mr. Novak, if an Amish gentleman comes up to you and wants to know if he can build a 2,800 square foot, 2-story home out of 2x4s, tell him no.
I tell them no, and I tell them to see Cliff.
Okay.
Now, how many months is this on average? This variance take? Have you seen anyone go through the process?
Gentleman out of town of Charleston, got a hold of state, state sent him the paperwork, he filled it out. He's got a hearing in September in Syracuse.
Okay.
That's where their hearings are for these appeals and.
So it's at least a 4-month, so these guys that want to build in the spring, if they don't want plans, stamp plans, they should be filing now.
With the state, yep.
Okay.
To get their thing. But now if he goes ahead and builds, he already got his okay from the state and his hearing. If he goes ahead and builds, he goes in front of the judge.
Right, because you still have to offer a building permit after they have the variance in their
Yep.
hand.
But being that the state already scheduled his hearing, he knows he cannot build until he gets his variance.
Perfect.
But if he goes and starts building, he's looking at a $250 fine, and every ticket I issue, it's 5 days a ticket in jail.
This should stop what's been going on. I hope it does.
I'm hoping it will, because I don't like repeating myself over and over. I'll let them feed me, but repeating myself over and over, you know, over and over. So that's it, but I'd have to say we got 2 more months of permits going out, so we may hit 85, 90 permits going out this year. I'm holding on 2 right now for paperwork, which one should go out Monday, but we've been holding on one for the past 2 months. I think he decided not to do the job. and that's it. I don't need any great alls, I don't need anything from the highway. I just bring the dog treat so I don't get bit.
You got enough pencils?
No. When
Should've done better again.
So that's it, I'm good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Make a motion, we accept Cliff's report as.
I'll second it.
Second? All right, any further discussion?
They say no.
Okay, there being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, town clerk.
Okay, I have been on summer hours, I'm going back on my regular hours, September 9th. And there's quite a few people that haven't come in to get their employee handbooks yet. And they need to get them as soon as possible. Should we put a deadline?
Yes, we should.
How are you doing in the highway?
We're all done.
You're all done?
They're all done, I've had them.
So the
a
only
month.
ones are,
Some other ones that, you know, here and some other boards haven't got theirs yet.
just a suggestion, but why don't we try the polite way first? Can we have the clerk send the ones who are delinquent a letter and ask them to reply in 15 days or something of that nature?
Yeah, we can. Well, like the zoning board, they haven't, nobody's been in, so they don't even know about it. But there's only a couple from the planning board that's got them, and
Of course, the other way to look at that is if we send them a letter with the book in it, in the letter.
But they have to sign for it.
That's right, and tell them they have to come in and sign for it. And then if there's no response or they don't sign for it, then we go the next step. It's a little extra work on our part, but it's a little more user-friendly with people who are working for the town. A lot of these people are volunteers. Someone got a different idea? Am I all wet here or what?
No, we can do the letter first, but I'm not saying I was just saying we need to set a deadline, because this thing does not need to be drawn out. We
No.
worked hard on getting this thing done, it needs to be in place.
And we are responsible to put it in their hands.
Yeah.
That's why my first-class postage with a letter, then it's argue over whether they got it or not, but everybody else did. So, and then we go in another 15 days with another letter, certified mail or whatever.
Because we need to be doing probably the workplace violence here in October, November.
That's up to that guy peeking around the corner there.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, I didn't see her.
She snuck in first.
She's hiding too, huh? Okay. Any other suggestions or other method you want to use?
I make a motion, we send out a letter.
we give them what, 15 days?
15 days.
Come in and sign.
Okay, who signs? Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
All right.
Further discussion?
Well, I was gonna say that we could always have the chairman of each board pick them up, but then we're lacking a chairman at the moment for the planning board, right? So that's not.
The onus is on us to get to each individual. So if we have one person handle it, it's smoother and more trackable. Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Okay.
Make
That's
a
it
motion,
for
we
now?
accept the town clerk's report as read.
You all set?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, a second? Second. Second by Hank. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, planning board, do we have a report?
Let's see, last planning board meeting, we had the public hearing for the Nexel Solar Company that's going up on Caswell Road. Going ahead with them, I put in front of you a fee schedule in regards to solar. There's two there, residential and commercial. Figured why not, we don't have either one. Upon talking to Nextwell, I had this meeting with Cliff down at the village offices, and we got in touch with a township just west of here where they put projects in. We talked with them, we set up what we thought was a fee, or what we put together, what we thought was a reasonable fee. Got in touch with them, left them our numbers. That was about 3 weeks ago. Got in touch with them today, we kind of had a teleconference with them, and they asked about the fee schedule again, and I brought up those same exact numbers. And they pretty much said, well, if that's going to be the site plan application fee, then that's going to be way too expensive, and they wouldn't even think about building. So pretty much, I asked, well, that was the numbers we discussed, and I mentioned to you about that, and there was no further discussion about it. So I said, well, what is I asked them, what is the average? And they said, well, you can either go by kilowatt hour, but we've never seen anything that high. So I said, okay, well, let me do some further research. I talked to Barbara Millington again, because she got those numbers for me. She talked to the town clerk in that, I think it was the town of Seneca that has them. And she's like, yeah, that's exactly what I heard. So I tried to outreach again to see if that was their exact numbers. But I think where I got those numbers from is for the reason that they have 3 projects there. So I think that was a multiple of 3 that those numbers came from. So that number possibly is going to be a little bit lower than that. But I want to get reconfirmation as far as that is concerned. So if we want to be aggressive as far as getting a site plan application fee, that would be the way to go. But if we want to attract, if this is something we want to attract in our town, then that number is probably going to have to be lower. So I take it upon the board if you want me to keep looking at it and see again, if this is something, a number that's going to be way too high for somebody to build in this town, then, I can keep looking and researching again and see what is, a reasonably fair number, if that's something we want to do, if we want to invite, then discourage. Also going forward, I did get in touch with a engineering firm, Delaware Engineering, as far as pretty much representing our town. They have their own engineering firm that put all this together, so we're going to have Delaware Engineering review it. Their engineering group, the Solar Energy Group, they said they would take care of the fees as far as Delaware Engineering is concerned, as far as their reviewing of it. So they said they were going to take care of it. Does the board have any questions as far as the site plan fee? Anything that you want me to ask questions about? I thought about getting in touch with the town of Florida as well. I haven't gotten that far yet. As I said, I put a shout out to their code enforcement officer in Seneca to get some more information.
So Joe, is this for a site plan review or for the special use permit?
Special use permit, sorry. Special
Okay,
use permit.
okay, so,
Yes.
so there's the special use permit, and then on top of that, there'd be a fee to Cliff for a building permit.
Yes.
Okay. And so what you're saying here is to get the special use permit, you're saying it's $150 for the first 2,000,
Yes.
and for every 1,000 thereafter, it's $6. So,
And according to them, that was astronomical, which I said, well, that really wasn't discussed when I sent out my email, because she just went, I sent it out, what were the numbers? Well, here are the numbers that we discussed, okay. And that's how I was left with 3 weeks ago.
it's a little difficult. Our current special use permit fee is $20.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say to them, look, we're gouging you. Now, on the building permit side, we currently have a solar price in for residential of what, Cliff? Is it $1,000?
Got residential and.
Yeah, it's $1,000.
commercial.
So if we translated either a per acre or per thousand price, I think that's a lot easier to swallow, because you have to go out a number of times.
Well, if you wanna do it for residential, but commercial, got one in Palatine, just did another permit in Palatine, we got one going up in Toback, town of Charleston. No kilowatt price, total cost of the project, which is the fee and then $6 for every 1,000 after that. If it's residential, then it's like $3 or $2. So we go, the residential, I mean, but these guys have the money.
Right.
Believe me, I've collected some.
Well, we were
money.
only getting $20 for a residential solar, which was ridiculous before we changed the fee.
Yeah, that's way too little.
Right, so now at least we're getting $100, $150 for each time on a residential solar. But on the commercial, I think we need to,
We just did the second phase in, what was it, oh, Nelliston. And they paid without a problem. It took 30 days for the check to come through. That permit was over $4,000, and they paid for it.
How big was that?
They've done over 800 some odd panels.
Hmm.
The first phase is feeding Fort Plain School.
Mhm.
That's the only thing that's phase feeding. They've been on it since last year, for a year and a half now. This phase is gonna feed somebody in Saratoga Springs and somebody else, I forgot who it was. We wanted to get the lights in Nelliston, the street lights, and it was yes at one time, back in the beginning of the first phase, but now this thing with National Grid, they cannot do that. So they asked us if there was any other thing that we could use the electric on. So that was put to the board. The board is still thinking on what they might want to use that electric for, but they offered to put up 2 or 3 of those car chargers, a station in front of where their panels are next to Wasilla, and they would pay for it, of course. But how many of those little clown cars do you see buzzing around town?
no, they get a huge tax break for
It
that.
takes a half an hour to fill up one. So,
So you're talking 80 panels, and their special use permit fee was, you said $4,000?
Well, that was their building
no,
permit.
that was a
fee.
building.
Oh, that
permit.
was just building
Yeah.
permit, okay.
And they pay for engineers. They always pay for their engineers, and so that's just for the building permit. Yeah. So they have the money, believe me.
This site's 20 acres, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
Well, if I tell you what the permit fee is for the town of Charleston, I don't need pencils because I can get them from there. They're paying a pretty penny for that, and they're going through with it. Monolith Solar, who cried bankruptcy, was in the paper, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, they went out and they found other investors, and they came through to Nelliston for the second phase. So, but I think permit-wise, we stay with that. Whatever you want to come up with a special use permit, that's up to you, the board, I guess, or the zoning board, or the planning board, excuse me. I would not change my fees. Don't touch my fees, please. I like that big Christmas party at the end of the year.